So yeah, yeah. I guess we could just jump right into it. The this character was rendered in Keyshot. We're going to render our spider character in Keyshot as well, using the same method. So this is an example of the render. This is the full size of the render. We're pretty much going to replicate this. There's some minor Photoshop adjustment here, mostly like overlay around the head to create more of a focal point, maybe some level adjustments of the picture. But basically we're going for the same look. Here I have Keyshot with the character in here. This is going to be a cool demonstration of me not remembering the buttons because I'm not often in Keyshot anymore. But anyways, so the background is static, right? It's just a picture, so it's a question of aligning the angle so it kind of fits with the background, especially since we're doing full body shots, and we're gonna crop the image later. This is why we're gonna render each image in a extremely huge size, and we're gonna render the image for a couple of hours. Also, well, not on the stream, but you'll see. What to say about this scene? All right. So basically, we have our character here. Every instance of the materials are here. I'm gonna show you in ZBrush how I do that. Jess, hello. We have a bunch of materials here. I'm going to show you like how they're not in like super high precision, because it's kind of like it's a bit intense to go through everything, but I can show you their. So they're gonna have a certain complexity, right? But they are in the end, it's not like super intense. It's just like another node system to understand, right? Right now I am in paint metal black. That's not what I want. I want paint metal gray. Yeah, it was just paint metal. Okay. Oh my god. Buttons. I'm trying to just find the button, the pan, the screen. Okay, there we go. My god. Okay, so there's some rendering right now, right? But basically, we'll try to observe. You know what? We'll observe one piece. I think it's going to be better like this. Okay. So basically, there is a paint. There's some edge damage. There's some surface damage, and there is some dirt in the cavities. That's pretty much what the materials are. They're not more complex than that. Oh, there's also dirt all around the character. So if we look at the node system, basically all the materials were done this way. There is a primary material. There's two materials. There's the paint on top, and then the steel under, once that the paint is chipped. The more you have materials here, the more costly the render time becomes. It's yeah, it's not super convenient in that way, because you wish you would be able to have many materials, but nope, there's not. Stream saving the holiday? Do you have a... Where do you live, Jess? Do you... Because we also have a holiday here right now. It's Saint Jean, which is the national holiday of our province of Quebec. Anyways, I'll give you some time to answer this. So yeah, two materials here. Oh, Bosimar, do you use substance or anything like that to create the texture? No, not for the insectoids. Insectoids is all procedural texture in Keyshot. So yeah, so okay, now what about the metal material? The metal material is not super complex. I just decided the roughness that I thought was adequate. I just wanted it to look kind of like dark in the shadows and lit in the highlights. That's how I chose my roughness. There's a composition with okay. So this is actually gonna be useless. I'm still gonna explain it. St. John too. But where do you live exactly? Well, if you don't mind mentioning. So basically, okay, so this is already like a composition because I'm trying to have certain texture. For example, like this text, it's gonna be hard to see, but if I click C on it, you'll see that like this texture is on my object. There's also, there we go. There's also this texture here. And basically these two texture are going to be used on the paint and on the metal to just give some variation. They're the texture themselves are just like mapped in a box, really simple. So basically, okay, there's some color inversion, color adjustments, just pretty simple basic stuff. Augmenting the value and contrast. And those texture here, they just composite together like with a node for color composite, like in multiply and stuff, color adjustment, color composite. So the idea is just to have those two texture be merged together over the metal material. So if we look, this is our metal material. So what's under the paint basically, and it's seen. It's like it has this texture and this texture mixed together on it, just so it's not like too flat. So there you go. And on the other end, we have the paint material. So this is the paint material without the chips, right? So we can see once again that there is a few texture that are used. This texture is used on top. There's also this like node of occlusion that adds some like dirt around it. There's some adjustments, see, to make the dirt stronger and to compose it with something else. Anyway, it's kind of like a mess, but there's also this curvature. The curvature here is just used as a mask, basically. I think it's actually used to make the highlights, the edges a little bit lighter, but the curvature is also used to expose the metal that is under. Anyways, it's yeah. Brazil, we have many Catholic holidays because it was founded by Portugal. Okay, that's what I thought actually. And hence why we have the Saint John here as well. Oh, that's a fun fact. I didn't know that. Anyways, I'm trying to find where which one of the nodes is the one that actually masks. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's this one. So basically, the color composition here, so this material is used as opacity, right? And there's an opacity layer that basically, oh yeah, right, okay. So everything here, I remember that the metal is plain. It's all of these, it's these two textures that are used and composited with also the main texture here that is composited, and it's used as opacity over the metal material here. Right. So this, exactly. So this is the composition of those two textures. And basically this is the mask that shows the metal under. So hence why now this is like visible. Anyways, I hope this makes sense. I wasn't thinking of talking about materials for the presentation. I wasn't even sure of showing the Keyshot part because there's a lot that I do in Keyshot that I just did once and then I rinse and repeat my scene. But I hope this makes sense. Yeah, it's all a matter of just really playing around, using the C button to see what's the value of like the node that you're using. And it really helps to visualize what you're doing, kind of like in Substance Painter, basically. Yeah, and just by the way, this texture here, it could be just like a flat green. It's just that I've used my the texture from Zbrush to get the exact value of the poly paint in Zbrush. So texture map legacy here is basically the poly paint of my object. So in case you've had some poly paint, this texture here, like .exr whatever, is the here it says matcat plus vertex color, basically. So the poly paint. It's a bit finicky to use, but that's pretty much it. Okay, so I got my meshes. I got, what else do I got? No, the other way around. Sorry, lady. There we go. I got a few cameras, a few angles. So I just figure out the angle that I want, and that's it. For each angle, I also have a different environment, which is pretty much the same environment. It's just that I play around with those two pin lights, because those two pin lights are the rim lights. And sometimes, so you see, like, for example, this side L. So this is side L. I use it for my side L camera angle. And front for front. Just because it just lights the scene differently. And what's the difference? Yeah, it's the rotation of the light. And like I said, those two pins here that are the rim light. So if I remove the rim lights, there we go. So you see, this is pretty much like lit by the environment alone. And if I rotate my scene, or I use, I think it's a shift and right click. Did I make this crash? Yeah. It's kind of like an unfortunate freeze just for having done shift and left click drag in the screen. Is there a way to increase the FPS while you tweak the light position, for example, increasing texture quality, decreasing texture quality, or number of ray trace, etc.? I think maybe in lighting you can maybe lower your values here while you're working. There's this performance mode option, but I think it removes the shadows also. So it kind of like doesn't give you the full picture of where it's lit. You at least get like a sense of where the light is coming from though. Anyways, get back to this. There we go. Okay. So it's shift and right click, isn't it? Fucking hell. Why is it control? Yeah, it was control. Okay. Control left click. So you see, like if you control left click, you can rotate the lighting around the model, so you can at least get like your main point of lighting, right? I like this HDRI here. I think it comes with ZBrush, or it was like a package that was given at some point. Because like there's a few like very small but strong points of light, which are good to create this very like clair obscur look, where it's like super lit from an angle and in the shadows for the other one. And also I chose a background that also resembles this setting here, which is very important, or else you're going to have like a disconnect in between your character and the lighting on the character and the background, I mean. So you have to, yeah. Anyways, so if you do like this, you have like all the rim lights, but no frontal lighting. I like to find my frontal lighting first. And even if it's like all blurry and stuff, you get kind of like a sense of how much volume is hidden in the shadows and how much it's like lit. So that's all good. So this feels, let's put a little bit more shadow. There we go. Okay, so right now there's like a bunch, like some aspects of her in the shadow and some that is lit. Maybe it's a bit too shadowy. Something like that, I guess. So that would be one part of it. And then so after you chose this environment, put it on. It so happened that I didn't change the brightness and contrast adjustment for this HDR. It was fine enough as it was. Like I said, background is the background. The rotation here is what we just decided. Ground shadow to have some ground shadow. If the shadow is not is like cropped, you play with the ground size. If it's a reflective ground, you can use ground reflection to see the reflection of the character in the ground. And HDR here, so you can add pin lights by clicking like the plus button here. No, this one here, add pin. And basically when you add a pin, so I'll add both of them. But if you look at one pin, you basically have the radius, so how big in the HDR this light will be. Then you have the brightness of that pin, what kind of like blend mode it has. I always use add. The fall off, this is to just know if it's like getting soft around the edges and that sort of stuff. And then the position of it. You can adjust the position by moving it around like this, basically, until you have the lighting that you want. There you go. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Oh, wow. By accident, I found the exact same, when I was playing around with the rotation, oh no, wait. Oh no, it kept my values from before. Yeah, in the environment, it saves automatically everything that you do, by the way. So if you want to like F around, just do like a duplicate of your thing so you know you can come back to what you had before. Because now I just like pretty much F'd myself. I could do undo though. There's a lot of undos in Keyshot. Anyways, lighting here is just the settings. I basically just use these values: basic, shadow quality at 1, self shadow, and ray bounce at 6. No global illumination. I just found that it actually removes a lot of the shadows and stuff personally, and it makes it longer for. I don't find much addition, to be honest. So yeah, basically those are the values. But I'm gonna now import the spider into the scene. So what I will do. Oh wait, no. There's also the render tablet. I just want to take a look at. So we're gonna render in. I don't know why the value changes here all the time. No, it's supposed to be 5,000 high by 8887 pixels. I don't know why it's. I don't know why it's not these values anymore, but it might have to do with my window size. Sometimes the window size, that is displayed here, and affects like the ratio between the height and the width of the picture in the render setting. It's kind of weird. So we could maybe like play it around here, and we could get the right value in the render tablet here. Anyways, I render in 300 dpi in case I wanted to print. Option. Yeah, this one this is on my old computer. I haven't done an insectoid in a while, and I was taking 7 hours to render. I'm gonna probably try to render for like 3 hours now. The pictures are like super high, and Keyshot is not like the best at rendering super complex things like that, I find. So we need like a lot of render time, which is meh. But we can basically click, the moment you click add job, it takes everything in your scene, all the settings, and it adds it as like something to render. So you can add a few, and then at some point you can just like click process queue, and it's gonna render every instance of like what environment you chose, lighting you chose, render information you chose, and it's gonna go through it. That being said, I kind of like remember seeing this crash when the scenes are complex. So yeah. Anyways, as I said, it's not the fastest renderer. It's cool for like having a result pretty quickly though. And I continue to render this just for legacy reason, basically, because all my insectoid are rendered this way now. But anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this for the moment. And we're gonna open Zbrush. Hey man, how are you doing? Pretty good. Santiago Riura Zbrush. Yeah, doing good. Doing pretty good. I mean, it's like hell as fuck in it's hell as fuck. It's hot as hot as hell, hot as fuck in Montreal for the past 2 days. It's just insane. It's not cool. And it's humid also, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, we're gonna open our final scene. I might actually create a temporary ZBrush scene if I have to do a lot of manipulation. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in ZBrush, and we're just gonna try to make sure that every materials are separated. And here it's been raining 24/7. Boy, yeah. I don't know if it sucks, but I wouldn't mind having some rain to just freshen up the weather a little bit, because like I've been watering the garden every day for the past days because it's just way too hot. All right, so we're not gonna need the podium. Not that we're gonna delete it necessarily. Okay. We're gonna check if there's not a rogue material that doesn't have any. It's not assigned. Okay. All right. Actually, knowing that we can split meshes inside of Keyshot, I'm not gonna go over every material here. I kind of assume that I've been using the same materials. Oh no, wait, there's one way I could do this relatively easily. Okay, we're gonna start with just the head though, just to set the example. Okay, we're gonna come here, hide the tab, click on show used, so it shows all of only the used matte caps. I don't know why the flat one is showing. I think it's there by default. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and modify, assign a diffuse color, and colorize diffuse. Okay. So this is just a way for me. Okay, well, this one is just the one material that I use in one place, so I don't need to assign a color to it. So green will be the can I boost its high range? Oh, there we go. High dynamic range, there you go. Okay, next one. This is gonna be the plasticky material, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna put it blue. Colorize, diffuse, high dynamic range, so it shows. So those are like the tubes, all right. Metal is probably gonna be all the white-ish metal, so we're gonna pink. There we go. This one is the lights, so I don't really need to have the lights. It's a material I haven't used often. Okay. Actually, while we're on the subject of assigning the materials, I'm just gonna go here, show used. So we have a few more. This one's gonna be yellow. Okay, so this is all the cloth material. So the cloth material and the tubes, the synthetic tubes, are the same color, which is a problem for me. So we're gonna have to fix that, and this is why we're doing what we're doing here. So that's good. Another kind of metal. This one I'm gonna put turquoise. These are like the bright metals here. But it seems to be used in not many areas, so I haven't really been using this bright turquoise metal in many areas. There's some on the belly here. So it's a bit useless, but it's not like I need to merge it. I can do that easily in Keyshot. Okay, so you see, like, for example, we got some like these tubes, and these tubes are the same color, and they should not, because first of all, these tubes should be more like a what color were they again? Oh my god, because I have actually did this, it's hard to tell. Then let's just remove the color diffusion. Dynamic range. Okay, I've been using the same color though, but I think I would want them to be like the color of the rim. Oops. Well, actually, it's again kind of like the same color. What are these black tubes? Oh, it's the blue material, huh? Okay, actually, I'm going to grab a new material here. And we're going to put these tubes on it. These tubes as well on it, because I'm going to want them to be black. And so they're like easily noticeable. I'm going to assign them orange, I guess. Brighter orange. There we go. It's kind of like a flashy orange here. I don't know why it's well, they have a different color, a poly paint color, so they're gonna show kind of like differently for sure. Also, I just realized that there's some metals that I use that are darker, so I'm also going to have to split these. Okay, let's go and okay, so the synthetic muscles are, I'm also going to create another material for them. I have a duplicate here. What color? It's gonna be like a purple, I guess. It's hard to tell with the color contour, but anyways, I know that if the tubes are this orange, that it's going to be fine. So the yellow material will be all of the cloth. So if you're more diligent from the get-go, you don't have to do that kind of stuff. Is there another synthetic muscle? Oh, there we go. These ones here. Oh, these ones here. It's kind of like, where's Waldo? All right. Now back to this material here for the anything that's going to be like tubes. There's also red tubes. Maybe I want to make another material for this. Let me just like find the tubes first. So like these, let's grab the same thing on every arm. And I'm not talking about the contours of the cloth parts. I'm really talking about the these tubes here. Also the I don't really have to go super crazy because the this is really just to assign the material. The color of the object is going to be the same as in ZBrush because we're going to use the poly paint for it. Okay, and there is the tubes here as well. Just want the tube part. Oops. Oh, the fuck's happening? There we go, okay. these here as well. Okay, that mask didn't work. All right. Any other tubes here? Any other tubes? Okay, not really. All right. Okay, so synthetic muscles are done. The tubes are done. Oh, there's tubes here. We're gonna do a mask by intensity. Go. Oh, these tubes I'm gonna grab as well. This tube are on the face. Okay, so the darker metal also. There's not going to be a lot. Actually, the darker metal, I'm just gonna keep it in the same because we're gonna be using the poly paint as base color anyway. Oops, more cables. All right, I think we're good. The nylon. What color? What is the nylon? It's on the same as the contours here. Sure. We're gonna leave it on the same one. I think it's gonna be the same kind of like roughness material sort of stuff. They're both like plasticky material. What is this one here? Oh, this is not supposed to be this material. This is supposed to be this one here. Okay, it's all right. Oh yeah, so the fascia is the fascia parts of the synthetic muscles is which material? It's the same as the contour as well, which is going to be maybe more dull. I think that I'm probably gonna want it to. Yeah, I'm not gonna assign any texture on it as well, so I'm gonna leave it with the contour here. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So right now I'm not seeing. So far I'm not seeing something that's gonna contradict itself in terms of a like a bad match for like the reflectance or roughness. Oh wait, there is one thing that is an error. All of these are supposed to be boop, this blue here. So the rest is good. It's just on the thigh I did a mistake. Maybe on the Tibia as well. Yeah, here, the tibia. Also, there's an error here. The rest is good. Red is the paint metal. Purple is the steel. The synthetic muscles here are their own material, so that's good. Fascia is this, and nylon is this. All the little bolts. Sorry, talking like that actually helps me to... Oh, there's a little tube here. So once again, just a color pick a material. So I guess material pick. You click a little trick that somebody showed me. You click shift on the matte cap. You click and drag over the material that you want. Release the button, and it's going to choose the material that you... See, we're going to do it again. There we go. Now I have these tubes. I do mask by intensity, hide, fail color, and then there you go. I know that my tube here is... It's such a small detail, it would not have mattered really in the end, but it's good to have it. Okay. Go around the character. These materials are yellow like the cloth. I'm gonna want to have them like the same intensity as the contours. So there we go. We've pretty much went around all of the unique parts. In the arm, we've been looking at them for a while. I'm pretty sure we're done with these. Okay, I got a feeling that we're good now. Okay, so I'm gonna save this scene, but it's not going to save the material adjustments I made. Actually, what I mean by that is the colorization of the material, but I'm still gonna save it in a new scene. It's like material assign. Just matte assign. So if I was to reopen Zbrush and load this object, it would be back to like the poly paint. Well, actually, we're going to need to do this because I'm going to want to have the right color when I export in Keyshot. And right now it's going to import with the color it sees, which is not the color that I want. So to do like a reset of all those materials to get the right color, instead of like going in each material and opening and closing them, what I can do is just like a clean close and open. There you go, close, open, and take a sip of coffee after that. So Santiago, you're asking if those are my ID map for Substance? No, they're technically like my ID map for Keyshot. Well, they're not really ID map. It's just a way for me to really see the difference in materials. It's really the matte cap that I chose that are going to define what a mesh share their material with the other. I think this live was one of the ones where I learned the most technical thing that I would never see in my life, like colorizing, diffusing Keyshot material. Thanks. So you don't need to hard decimate the material. I use Blender and it crashes very very easily with heavy projects. Yeah, but Keyshot is a bit more robust when it about like having millions of polys. And I mean, there's a world where maybe I will need to decimate. The only issue is that when I decimate, I lose my materials, and I hope in my heart to heart that I don't have to do that. Otherwise, what it means is that I need to merge every material that share the same every subtool that shares the same material. I have to merge them together. So because you can assign your material by subtool as well. It's just that it's much easier to use it to assign for Keyshot to assign the materials with the the actual material in ZBrush. And decimating destroys the materials, so it's kind of like it sucks. To use the Keyshot material, you don't need to open UV. No, it's all going to be procedural. Menu, hello. All right, so reopen this. Boom. So you see we're back to the colors that we chose before. Nothing really has changed, but we know in the back end that we've assigned the proper material everywhere. So there's not like one that is a mistake anymore. We're all good. We're all ready to import in Keyshot. So we're going to open Keyshot. I've already created a scene in Keyshot where it's here. I already created a Keyshot scene, which is basically the scene I just showed you at the beginning of the stream of the mantis. But I basically removed almost all of the mesh. I only kept one mesh for each material, so that I still have my material in my material list here. So what we're going to do is we're going to import in Keyshot. Those are going to make for some extremely heavy scenes. So render, external render, Keyshot, photo merge entries, group by material. There you go, group by material. And yep, and then we click the render button. So it's gonna take every visible material or every, not material, meshes. If it grabs the other, we'll just remove them, but man, it's exciting to be at the end of that project finally. So let's alt tab in Keyshot. So it's gonna import our stuff. Eventually we'll be able to close ZBrush. We're gonna make sure it doesn't autosave and just makes the computer even more laggy. You have the next project in mind? Well, I'm already working on something. I don't know how far I'm going to be into it, but I'm doing a link in the world of Clair Obscur. Right now I'm working on the Master Sword and the shield, the Hyrule shield, à la Clair Obscur, right? And so far I'm liking it. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm like, I reserve the because I'm really inspired by another project at the same time that I want to explore. So I don't know if I'm going to work on like a couple of things at the same time. We'll see. But I also have this kind of like created like a semi pitch for a game. It's not super elaborated, but it can be used as a skeleton for another project. We'll see. Anyways, all right, so we have our spider here. We're going to close ZBrush just so that we free some RAM. Okay, we're going to just bring back the... All right, so we got our mesh here. Where's the mantis? It's up here. All right. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna just, okay. So this is gonna be spider position. So for some reason I scaled the mantis up. I'm probably gonna scale it until it's as tall as the spider as well. Right off the bat, I'm going to use a 1.1 universal scale. Okay, and I'm gonna tell it to snap to the ground. Boom. All right, let's go back to the camera. Okay. Oh yeah, I should be careful of not hiding the its stingers. I forgot about that. It's true. If she has her stingers up, it's gonna be well, it's just for the full body shot. Because like if when I do close-ups, I'm gonna cut them, but for the full body shot, I have to be careful about that. We're gonna scale her a little bit less, so 1.08. Oops, 0.8. Not 88. Jeez. 98. 0.8. Okay, snap to ground. Okay. We'll start with that. I knew the mantis is supposed to be much taller than her anyway, so. All right. All right. So you see that like right now, the materials that we have include those materials from Zbrush here. The rest is still the same as. Okay. So I'm going to save as, just so it, in case it crashes, I don't have to re-import. And those scenes are like extremely heavy. And they're a pain to save, but better safe than sorry. Better save than sorry in that case. Is there an advantage to using Keyshot for rendering instead of something like Arnold or Marmoset? Speed, I guess. They're pretty quick to previs and they do decent result if you're not picky with your texture. I mean, I think it's like it's especially pre-visualization software, right? And you can create some like mood pretty easily. It's pretty fast to get to a result in Keyshot, I'd say. Unfortunately, it's pretty slow to render, and also you can't really use the textures the same way that you would in real time and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of limitation. But every time I look at my renders for my insectoids, I'm pretty happy with the results. So I guess that you could say that you can do some cool stuff with them. But no, to be honest, I would lean more rendering with like texturing and substance and rendering and whatever. Marmoset, Arnold, Unreal. We're going to miss Spider 1 year together. Actually, more than 1 year. I think we're at 1 year and a half. It took more time for this character than the other ones. I'm not sure why there's like red here on my mesh. Is it like something that emits light? Oops. God damn those buttons. There we go. Oh yeah, it's just something emitting a light that's reflecting on the mesh. Okay. Once again, camera up. Boop. Okay. All right. So now the thing is, I don't remember if the mesh is going to keep, like, because like I showed you in a material, it references to a texture that is the vertex color. And I don't remember if it's going, if I slap like a texture on the spider, if it's going to consider the vertex color of this mesh or of the other one. And I'm pretty sure it's of this mesh, but we're gonna know pretty much right now. We're gonna take the this material, which is the paint material, and we're gonna assign it on oh yeah, there you go, it works. All right. So now we just need to, it's kind of weird how it's like flashy and so metally. I guess we're gonna need to, well, wait, does it? Let's go in the material graph. Okay, first of all, let's isolate, let's say the breastplate. Okay, it seems to be working. We have the, yeah, curvature works well. This scratchy thing works well. We're gonna go in the material graph anyway. For the C button, we can see how they are assigned. Yeah, the maps also are adjusted correctly. So, like sometimes the map would be bigger and smaller when you change from project to the other, but since the meshes, the models are somewhat of the same size. Yeah. So that's the occlusion. Curvature. Yeah, okay. Everything's calibrated. Feels like it's calibrated the same. I think it's just because since it's like a gray material, it's kind of like maybe too light of a gray. Actually, maybe I'm gonna need to make it darker. We'll see. We're gonna start by assigning the materials back to what they are. We're gonna figure out this after. So you see like this like red part was a poly paint on the mesh, so it keeps the poly paint here. But of course now if I make this metal darker, it's gonna make the red here darker as well. Except if I'm able to kind of like play with the contrast. We'll see. So next one. All right, synthetic muscles. What material did I use for the synthetic muscles? I'm just gonna click on the scene. It doesn't show, but I'm clicking on the synthetic muscle of the mantis right now. So it's mantis rubber. That's the name of the material. So let's unselect, go in material, mantis rubber. Let's put it on the synthetic muscles here. Now the cloth, it's probably going to be like mantis cloth. Contour tube. Well, let's choose contour tube here. Mantis cloth, there you go. Let's put it on the cloth here. Carbon fiber is the visor. They all have a carbon fiber visor. Oh boy, this one's gonna need some adjustment. It like flattens everything. Wait, is it the right material? Carbon, yeah, okay. Weird. Cloth the eyes. We're gonna need to change the color for those for sure. And any other lights in case they're a different color. But I think they're all the same color for her. They're all red. But anyways, and it's at the back. Lights. There we go. Okay, we're gonna remove some materials now. The mantis carbon's done, eye light is done, light body is done, paint metal is done. Another light body. Cloth is done. I didn't do the metal gray. Contour is done. Rubber is done. And this is paint metal wet. Paint metal black. Okay, so I got another paint metal in case I need. Is there, I mean, am I gonna need another paint metal? And I'm gonna assign the metal. Mantis metal gray. Even if it's not the proper material everywhere, starting to look cool. Okay, so yeah, there's an extra material that we're not using and we don't seem to need. I'm gonna delete every mesh except for, boom, we don't need them anymore, but I'm gonna hide the Mantis model. Okay. So in case I want to disconnect two materials, like for example, this ball here is on the material of metal gray. And let's say I want them to have different material, I can't just assign a different material, or else it's gonna assign it to every instance, every mesh that is kind of like this. So what we're gonna do is, come on, we're gonna just select all of these ball joints, the ones under the okay, the ones under the arm are not really visible, so let's forget about them. Now control click to also have these. Is there another one? No. Okay, so now we select these. You can click material, unlink material. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, actually, I'm just going to import it on the, is it this one? Mantis paint metal, Mantis paint metal black. There. So we've got our meshes selected, they're unlinked. Now if I go over and I assign it, it assigns it to these here. Let's see, Mantis paint metal black. Let's find the other one. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's it. Sorry, I just needed to confirm, but we're all good. Maybe it's more noob friendly. Keyshot? Yeah, kind of, I'd say. Okay, so if we look at the material list here, we see there's some materials that are called like Z materials something. Those are materials that don't have some like a mesh material assigned to them. So we're gonna need to finish this. Oh, by the way, yeah, now I can delete the mantis model. Okay, so we got 4 materials, you see, ZMAT, 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 ZMAT here that are not assigned yet. And then we have to do the material like adjustments as well. So there's the, I think the nylon is, no, it's using the contour. What about these small tubes? Okay, yeah, so any kind of tubes right now, they have unassigned materials. I guess I was using contour or rubber. Also, I'll do a little fix. I'll rename them spider. Okay. And I want to duplicate. Well, you know what I could, we need to do a test before. Can I just copy spider rubber? I'm gonna right click, show, select parts with this material. Yeah, so it's the material of the synthetic muscles, which is kind of like flashy. Oh wait, I selected contour. I wanted, okay, select parts with material. Huh. It's the button to solo again. Yes. Okay, so rubber is the synthetic materials. So basically, it's a pretty flashy rubber. So rubber is a pretty flashy rubber. Unhide, unhide, undo hide. No, exit solo. Okay. What about the contour materials? Select parts with material. Press X to see them in solo. Okay, they're a little bit more diffuse, a little bit more rough. So I guess I'm going to take this, okay, wait, exit solo. So yeah, there's no like duplicate material here. So what I could do is I could create like a space in my material list, which is, oh, it's loading. Okay. So I have a few materials here. Those are like saved on the computer, right? But by the way, if you save a material on the computer, there's like a disconnect in between what's on your computer and what you have in your scene right now. So what I'll do is I'll just keep it in the scene and I'll do like trickery here. So I'll just select this rubber. All right. Actually, maybe I should save before. Yeah, let's just save before I do anything. Camera front is, oh yeah. I'm just gonna, it asks if you want to save your camera changes. I know what, before I save, I want to change the laser color because it's bothering me. supposed to be red. Not pink, although it's pretty cool. Did I have the... Yeah, I think there's no like glow or that sort of stuff in those lights. I think it's like all post-production. Okay, so I'll save it like that and I'll just confirm something. I'm probably gonna have to reduce the strength of the lights because they're flashing everywhere on the character and it's kind of like bothering me. All right, that's saved. We're gonna click pause. We're gonna open my Photoshop scene. This is just to see the raw result of a render. So I just have to remember like how I did the glow basically. By the way, I'm gonna add to the series. I'm gonna also add how I render in ZBrush the like clay shots, and also how I do the turntable in Keyshot for the clay shot as well. All right. So this is an example of the render. So you see how there's like a glow and that stuff. There's a lot of post-production in there. Okay, so these are like the levels. Like color adjustments, brightness, that sort of stuff. Bunch of things. Oh. Here we go. Just in case I need to do some masks in Keyshot. Okay. Well, I think the answer is here. So there's a glow on the lasers. If we remove the entire folder, there you can see, like this is the actual result. So I actually added the colorization of the laser by myself after. So I went for like a white. I think that's the thing. I went so it's like white on the laser, but you see that the color reflecting is the color that I want. So I'm probably going to repeat this. All right. It's the distance of the light that I also want to fix. So maybe it's if I reduce the lumen. Okay, see, at least now it's not as far. How does it look for the lights of the face? Does it reflect as well as at least? Yeah, there's some reflectance around. Now let's make it wider. The moment that it's like too light now. Yeah, how does this look globally? Oh boy, the it's not working for the lasers here. For the stingers. Yeah, so I'm going to separate into two materials, which is basically was I was going to show right before that, or back to where we were supposed to be. To create like a duplicated material, you just take one of your material and you unlink it, one of your mesh, and you unlink the material from it. It creates two instances. Oh boy, I unlinked the wrong one. Undo, unlink material. I selected the the metal rim, not the light. There you go, that's the light. Material, unlink. Boom, so now we have two light there. So the one that's called light body 1 is the one for the eye, so we're just going to call it light eye. We're going to fix light body. Back to 1000 lumen. Yeah, no, that actually that goes way too far. 100. So I like to see it a little bit on the legs. This light, but it's just a little bit too much with 1000. So 200. Yeah, there you go. 200. We got a little bit of a shine here. It's good. Now I just want it not pink. Or maybe I'm gonna, maybe I could just have it like that and in Photoshop change the color as well, because how much lumen am I going to have to put to get the effect that I want? Apply front geometry, apply invisible and shadows. Oh no, I don't want the shadow to affect this lighting. Visibility camera. This is just a mesh. Visible and reflection. Yeah, I'll want this. Apply back geometry. Apply front geometry. Yeah, okay. Well, you know, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna need to fix this in post-pro, so just ignore those lasers for the moment. And the eyes is, if I can get a little bit more like pink tone in the white of the eye, I'll be happy, but I think it's gonna be fine. All right. Okay, so back to assigning materials. These rubber tubes here, we're gonna need to, okay, so I'm gonna select it. Right off the bat, I'm going to unlink it from the rest. Did I already unlink it? Oh no, wait. Yeah, there we go. Unlink it. And now I can assign it to hit. Did we say it was contour or rubber? It was contour. We can kind of like preview it a little bit. And what about rubber? Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlink it again. Boom. So now we have two contour. Material, edit material. So this one is contour tube 1. So we're just going to call it tubes. Boom. And now the material tubes, spider tube. Is it? There we go. I can assign it to the other tubes. All right, so we have one less material. So this one, select parts with material. What are these? The fuck are these? I think those are like floater meshes. Yeah, they're like floater meshes all around. Okay, well. Select parts with material. I'm gonna assign them. whatever material. Okay, now this material here, select parts. Which one is this? I think this is the inner rubber material. Yeah. So this one I'm going to want to have it on a different material as well. So we're going to do the same thing as before. Exit solo. We're going to click on the tube of the body here and link. We're going to assign the non-flashy rubber, which is contour once again, to it. I'm going to unlink it so it doesn't affect the standard material. Edit material. We're going to call it inner rubber. And inner rubber, we're going to assign it to the other inner rubber. There we go. And there's one last material that I need to assign. Oh yeah, it's the flashy metal, which we're just going to give it the standard metal material. Now, in case I need to have it flashy, we're going to keep it on a different material as well. Unlink material. Spider metal gray, there you go. Unlink material. I'm gonna call it metal white. It's a lighter gray. White is this one. Come here, select all the parts. There we go. So now we have no unassigned material. Everything has its material. So that's already a good step. It's done. Then we just have to do the material adjustments. As I said, the gray here is too bright. The carbon fiber is much too damaged. And we'll go from there. Maybe there's going to be other adjustments. But so, okay, so if we look at one tab at a time, the scene tab, everything is in place. Everything is the right scale. Everything's the right scale. All of the materials are assigned on it. Material tab is where we're going to go now to adjust materials. And later we're going to tackle the angles, then the lighting, then the lighting presets. We're already good with that. So we basically just have to do material adjustments, then find the camera angles, adjust the lighting for each angles, and then we're good to go. I guess I'm going to save here again. Oh. Okay, so since we're talking about the color here, I can probably just go in performance mode for this, so it's going to be easier to render. I guess we don't need the backlights. So material graph. So this is our poly paint, and you see that the gray is pretty it's pretty bright. So this is the color composite that mixes a little bit of occlusion with the base material. It's very subtle. I think it's just for the cracks. I don't even see it. We're gonna keep it, but whatever. There's not much occlusion happening. So this is just a bit of damage. So it composites this texture with our main texture. Yeah, so we're gonna need to color composite here. We're gonna need to accentuate source alpha. Do I have adjustments in the texture here? No, I could do the adjustments straight up here, I guess. Yeah. Okay, let's get out of this mode. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna, if I augment the contrast, trying to find a way to see if I can keep the red a little bit brighter. Yeah, okay, there you go. With the contrast, I can do this. So I guess that's a bit better. Let's get out of performance mode. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring back my rim lights because I need to see the full effect on how this material looks when it's cut with this rim light. That's the issue from having a character that is pretty dark. It's like I find that putting the gray brighter makes it look less interesting, but makes it also less visible. I knew what I was doing. Also, something that I can do is, so I'm using this software here that just takes screenshots. So I'll just take an example of this, then I'll put it darker. I got 0.6. I'll wait around the same amount of time so that the sampling is somewhat similar. And I'll take another screenshot and compare before and after. How about now? I think before it was dark enough and more visible. Undo material change. Back to 0.9. Actually, I'll test it higher now. 2.1. Actually, scratch that. Undo 2.4. I don't think I'm going to do much changes to the effects, like the material effect on the model, because it's pretty standard for every insectoids. So that was the darker version. So now we're comparing light with medium. You know, I'm not against the lighter version, actually. You know, what I'll do an in-between, so between 1.9 and 2.4. This. I guess that'll be good. Okay. Now I find that the synthetic muscles are a bit dull. So I did my neural graph. Color adjustment. There's a desaturation on this object, so I'll actually saturate it to 1.5. A bit too much. 1.2. Do I need it to be brighter? Do I augment the value? Point. I think it's good. Victorious 8, it looks good. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, so the synthetic muscles, they look good enough. What other material do we have? There's nothing that pops to me necessarily. The tubes, I mean, they look fine. I could do like a close-up render, but I trust that My material's fine. Actually, you know what? Let's just go near the face because I'm gonna try to fix the carbon fiber now. That's a bit too scratchy. I think my other character, the mantis, had like a point, so I needed more texture for it to be more visible. But since this one's a more flat surface, any like weathering shows a lot. That's carbon fiber. The cloth is fine, I'm pretty sure. Contour tubes. That's fine as well. Brighter metal is fine as well. Or maybe, for the bright metal. Is there something that makes the color more dull? Color adjustments. The value is up. Oh, saturation's down for this. Yeah, like those red parts here were a bit dulled out because it was in a lower saturation. Yeah, and those red parts also don't need to be more flashy than that. Actually, on the ZBrush, I thought that they were a bit too flashy, so it's good that they got more dull in Keyshot. Okay, so the carbon fiber. We're gonna start by, actually, not. Let's go solo with this piece here. We don't even see the carbon because of this like dirt on the mask, which is this mask here. Well, mask, this texture here. Color invert, color adjust. There's also some curvature. So the background alpha, we're gonna reduce it. Reduce it again. I think I'm gonna put the face mask darker as well. Value. Yeah, can't get really more black than this. So it's the material that makes it look brighter. Although, wait, that could be good. That's not bad. I just wonder if I can make it a little bit flashier. There we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty good right now. In terms of like its darkness. Do I want to put the contour a little bit flashier? They kind of like land with the metal sometime. They're maybe a little bit more saturated. So right click, material graph. The color adjustment here. Let's boost the saturation to 2. A bit intense, 1.5. Okay, that's good. That's good. The fascia is a bit dark. See, I'm starting to see more details and details. Oh wait, the fascia is also contour tube. Right. So you see that this is an instance where like part of a material that was chosen in that material here is fine and the other one is not. But I think I don't mind having this stay kind of dark. Or is the flashy contour like that is it good now? I find it's like a little bit too present. Hey, have a good stream. You too. You want to ask, as a character artist, how important do you think it is to have basic skills in other area like animation, rigging, and knowledge for the game engine? Is it better to know a little bit of everything or focus all on improving skills in something specific? That's a great question. Let me hit save, since I think we're done with the materials. So yeah, I think that what made my success would be that I was specialized in something, but there's a certain problem in specialization as well, is that people, they need more than just one thing. And seeing where like the game industry is going, I think the people are going to want to try to find ways to cut more and more into budget. So if like you have somebody that knows how to do like a few things, they start to get more in value or of value for like studios and stuff, especially that like we're seeing like a resurgence of double A like games that are like pretty good and stuff. And when you're in like smaller studios, you do need to actually have a few hats, right? So I think that it really does not hurt to know more than like one specialization. So I think that like the answer is kind of like in the middle. It's like make sure there's something you're super good at that makes you like stand from the lot, but do not think that only that specialization is going to help you necessarily. That's pretty much the answer I would go for, I'd say. Yeah. And you know what? It's we're at the 2 hour mark. So I'm probably gonna stop the stream here. We're pretty much gonna do like cameras and lighting for Keyshot. We're gonna set up the scene so it's ready to render. Then maybe I'll show how I set up for the clay turnaround in the Keyshot as well, which is gonna be, well, I don't think there's gonna be much to show, but maybe I can show it anyway. We'll see. And then I do the ZBrush renders, and then we'll have all of the pieces, and then I'll be able to finish the renders for this guy or this girl, I should say, and then we're off to the races. Yeah. No, I think it's starting to look pretty good. I'm gonna use this shot for the thumbnail. Thank you for your answer. Have a good day. You too. All right. You know what? I think that's it. Yep. I think that's it. I think we're done. So, yep. That's gonna be it. Cool. Well, thanks for joining again. I'm thinking to probably have one and like maximum 2 streams left, and we're actually done with this character. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. And yeah, so I hope that like you've learned a few things again. It's the first time I show Keyshot on this on the streams. So yeah, that's cool. Yes, in 1 week I'm still going to be there. In 2 weeks I'm gone. Yeah, so that would be good if I can finish next week, because in 2 weeks I'm actually I'm gone on vacation. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna try to finish it next week. I'm calling it right now. We're gonna try to finish it next week. So cool. Anyways, fan of your stream. Take care. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. So yep. See you in 2 weeks on Tuesday, and we're gonna try to beat the final boss. All right. Take care, everyone.